Thank you for sharing that. Our next speaker is Ernie. He has written many books. He's a well-polished speaker. And
my brother here.
oh, there you go. Well, come on. Let's welcome Ernie to get
Okay. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests.
Okay.
We cannot outgive the universe. If there was a way that you could have more simply by being nice to people, would you like to know about it? See, this morning I have good news for you. No, wait. I have great news for you, because there is. And what I'm going to do this morning is share with you simply two examples of how it works, where the concept comes from, and where you can go to find out more if you choose. I think after hearing the two examples, you might want to do that. There are no accidents in the universe. It's very strange that I came in late last night from Daytona, where I now live, at Flagler Beach, and came this morning, and there was an opening for a speaker. And I've been doing a lot of talks around the country. I'm leaving for several places on Thursday up north. And Karen comes up and talks about James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. I'll give you three books that you may want to read. One is As a Man Thinketh. Two is Seed Money by John Speller, which I'll talk a little bit about. And three is The Power of Positive Attitude by myself, which Arnie has been selling for me. The interesting thing about the concept is we hear about giving money, tithing money. And most of us have all heard that through the Bible, through our churches, or whatever. Tithing simply means that when a person makes a certain amount of money, you take a certain amount of that money, they say 10%, and give it back to, and it doesn't have to be the church. It could be something that you like, an organization that you like, or anything at all. Seed money is relatively similar but different. It's also talking about 10%, but it's tenfold return. And how it works basically is that you cannot outgive the universe. Whatever you put out there, you get back. Because of the amount of time that I have, I'll hurry through this. Several months ago, I needed to get some work done on my van. I go over here to Milex on 19 in Tarpon Springs. And after I had the work done, Rick said to me, it needs a gas treatment. And I said, well, what's a gas? Because I'm on the road all the time. I just turned 176,000 miles on it. And how much is the gas treatment? $109. I said, go ahead and do it. How long is it going to take? 45 minutes. Fine. While you're doing that, I'll go to Checkers and have an iced tea, and I'll sit outside and I'll do some writing, because I always have a book either to read or a notebook to write in. And as I sat there, I looked up, or as I was ordering the iced tea, I looked up and I saw this sign that said, 2 hamburgers for $3, and it's like bacon cheeseburger, thick, greasy type stuff. But I knew the guys at the shop ate it, and being a vegan, I really felt even bad about buying it for them. But I did.
Sorry, it's not real meat anyway.
So I bought it for them. No grease though. So I buy it for them, and as I did, waiting for them to cook it, I said what's in Speller's book. It says basically that I have received, and it's tenfold what you've given. So it was $6.42. So I said I have received $60 and some cents or whatever, or more, in return with the good of all concerned. Thank you. And I said it several times. Hamburgers were ready. I brought them over. I gave them to Rick, and I said, here's some lunch for you guys. He said, you bought lunch for us? I said, yeah. He says, no charge on the gas treatment, it's free. So the return was that instant. Okay. Second instant, I went to the movies on Saturday. I walk out of the movie, and I jump in my van, and I'm driving down 100 over at Flagler Beach. I'll go to the beach and walk for a while. And there's a motorhome on the side of the road, broke down. And I stopped, knocked on the hood. The guy came out of the motorhome, and I said, excuse me. I said, you need some help? He's an older gentleman, him and his wife. And I found out later on that they were 77 years old. And he said, no, we have a tow truck coming. And I said, oh, this is a Lachero, isn't it? And he says, yeah, it's a small motorhome. And I said, I used to have one. And he says, how did you like it? I just bought this. I said, I loved it. I said, I went all over the country with it. And the weird thing about it, it has a 4-cylinder Renault engine in it, but it runs phenomenally. I handed him my card and I said, if you ever want to sell it, call me. He said, no, I just bought it. He says, I don't think I want to sell it. I said, okay. I got in my van. I said, you sure you don't need any help? He said, no. Got in my van, drove down the road, walked out of church on Sunday morning in Ormond Beach, Florida, and there was a message on my phone. I pick up the phone and I listen to the message, and he says, hey, this is Frank Brody, the guy you stopped to help on the road. He said, if you want to buy that motorhome, I'll sell it to you. You can pass this around, take a look at the pictures of it. I went to see him because he was staying at the Hilton next to the garage where they towed the motorhome, and he wanted $4,000 for it, because that's what he paid for it. And I said, well, what's wrong with it? He said, it's got a couple of fan belts that are broke. I said, well, let's talk about it tomorrow. So I went to see him the next day, because I had to stay overnight to get it fixed. When we got into the garage, they said, no, more than fan belts, it's probably a timing belt. We're looking at about $750 if the valves didn't fall down into the engine and get bent. I said, okay. He said, I'll tell you what, I got to get on the road. My wife and I got to be in New Jersey for my granddaughter's wedding, and my wife is getting nervous. He said, if you give me $2,500 for it, you can have it, but you fix it. I said, well, I'm not sure how bad it's going to be. So we sat and talked. He said, okay, tell you what, $2,000, it's yours. I said, Frank, I said, I'm not sure. If the valves are bent, it might need a new engine, and those engines are hard to come by. I said, I'll tell you what, I don't want to insult you. I said, I'll give you $1,000 as it sits. His wife looked at him and said, take the money, let's get to New Jersey, rent a car. So I bought this motorhome. I know once I get it fixed, I can put it, I've seen motorhomes in Auto Trader, they're selling for $15,000, $18,000, that type of motorhome. And I can get it fixed and put it on the market. I got it for $1,000. I found out yesterday before I left Flagler Beach, it's going to be about $750 for the new timing belt. The valves, they don't think the valves are burnt or bent. So my point being is that we cannot outgive the universe. Whatever, Karen brought up a good point, whatever we think about, we bring about. There are lots of books out there about this, and I would encourage you, probably the best book that you could ever read on this subject is called Illusions by Richard Bach. And it is Illusions. Phenomenal book. I would recommend that book above almost anything that I've read. And if you can find CDs on it, if you want a CD, I happen to have them for $10. But if you don't want the CD, I'd buy the book for, I think it's like $8 or $9 for the book. That's excellent. And the best I've ever read. So with that, red light's on. I just want to say that no matter what we do, it comes back to us. And I'm going to go just over for a minute. I'll tell you one other thing that I did. I developed a program for healing. This is something you have to listen to. For people in the healing arts profession, for chiropractors, medical doctors, acupuncturists, whatever. And it's called No Upfront Marketing. And basically what it is I will market somebody's practice in the healing arts profession. And they don't pay me any money other than up front, and if I send them people, they pay me a percentage of what the people pay for 1 year. And then after the year, anything they make after that is theirs. The reason I'm telling you I'm doing this is when I was writing this up, I was sitting in a coffee shop on the beach in Flagler, and I was writing, and this guy and his wife looked at me, and the guy said, well, you're really busy writing. And I said, yeah. And he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm putting together a program, and I explained it to him. And he says, well, how do you know that the people will be honest and pay what they owe you? And I said, I don't. But the deal is, I think that people are basically honest, and I go on that premise. And so if they don't pay me, it's their bad karma, not mine. So they have to either pay me what they feel that they justly owe me or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. Because I know that you can't outgive the universe. If they don't pay me what they owe me, it's going to come from someplace else anyway. So, in conclusion, basically, you just cannot outgive the universe.